you Warhammer players, and welcome to the definitive podcast for the Warhammer 40k enthusiasts in the inland northwest. Your hosts are me, Jeremy All Day 40k Nakano, and Joey Beddingfield Painting Beddingfield. How we doing, Joey?
Doing pretty well.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that. You can find me on TikTok at All Day 40k and Joey on Instagram at Beddingfield Painting. Today's topic primarily is that we got to address our sweet baby special Space Marines and discuss maybe that they're a little OP. Are they? Yes or no? We'll help you figure that out.
Find out today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Tacoma, the list that we're probably going to be bringing, and our thoughts around that. We're also going to be jumping into a little bit about, when do you chase hobby? When do you chase competitive? Is this a good time to do it? Those are our thoughts on what's going on. That being said, Joey, you've been working on stuff. What have you been working on?
I have been working on stuff. I've been building orcs. I've built more models in the past week than I think I've built in the past year, which is not saying a lot, but it is more than 5. I've built the orc half of Armageddon, and then about half of the Beastnaga Combat Patrol is built. I primed a war boss today and started throwing some contrast paint on it. I like to test the concept of paint schemes with contrast, and then just to know, hey, just because it's really fast, right? Of going okay, these colors work together. I like how this looks. And then I can refine that and move forward with the rest of a project. And then when I'm happy, I can go back and refine and build up from the contrast. But it's just a fast way to test color schemes.
Totally get it. Speaking of color schemes, you're currently playing Dale's Orcs, which is dope.
I am.
But
yes.
You're building and painting your own. So what are you looking to paint them as? How do you want to paint them?
I want to paint them orange skin. So World of Warcraft Fell Orc style. Probably stay in that vein for armor and stuff. So the more primal, the tans and browns and bone and fur and all that kind of stuff. I really like that look. It gives you green magics, which orcs kind of already do, but it's not blending in with their green skin. It's contrasting off of the orange skin. I am undecided on what to do with armor. It's probably, we've talked about it already a little bit. I think the armor is probably just going to be various colors of steel and metal. Because I tried 3 or 4 different colors on different armor panels on this war boss today, and I just was not happy with the way that a single one of them looked. And was it's probably just going to be metal.
I had a thought when you were talking about it, that I think you should, if you don't already know how to do it, talk to Drew and Bob. That'd be Drew Johnson and Bob Kelly over at the Gamers Haven, about how to make fur cloaks with green stuff. Because if you were to do steel armor and then just jam in a pretty easy to do fur cloak on everyone that's a cool gray wolf pelt or into the blues, that with on top of red skin and steel armor would just be the most wow shit ever.
For sure. That would be really cool. It is nice because all of the what are they called? The Beastnaga stuff already has, and they have some pelt, but a lot of it is reptilian hides, which is still fine. I can work with that. So the Beastnaga stuff already has a lot of that, and I'm definitely down to pull that aesthetic, the beat, because I like the Beastnaga look. So to pull that hide and pelt and bone and all that trophy aspect, lean into the higher fantasy side of things and less of the sci-fi aspect. Well, obviously it's still going to be there. They have guns, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, Space Wolves have guns, but they're covered in fur.
That's true. And then probably a like jungle-y kind of base to contrast a little bit further. Um, I have also talked about how I really like the look of like brown and green forest natural bases, and I haven't put that on an army yet. So this seems like the best one to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could do a straight up Space Wolf Orc army where it's just forest, like snowy forest basing and
Yeah,
wolf pelts on red and steel orcs. Like that would look pretty great.
I could. I also have a shit ton of Space Wolf bits.
There you
Uh,
go.
so they could just get the like Viking melee weapons.
It would be cool. I mean, I'm super for it. That would be
So
because you don't see that very often. I feel like
right. Yeah,
you
and
see,
it is pretty hard to do like orc conversions that feel original.
yeah.
So
So Space Wolf Orcs, or
Space Wolf,
you know,
Sworks
Sworks or Forks because they're fell orcs.
or Forks. Yeah.
Fine,
Yep. I thought about
foresty
painting
forks.
the like the Squighog boys. I thought about painting them as like various tropical slugs
Ooh, fun.
for the squigs themselves.
Yeah,
To be my little my sklugs, the squig slugs. I don't know. It's silly, but it
your
seems fun.
sluggalos.
My sluggalos. Ew, my slug
That's a
juggalos.
dungeon crawler Carl reference for those of you out there.
Yeah, my slug gigolos.
Yeah, it's like it's a no, they're juggalos, but slugs.
Yeah, fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I have finished the first book.
Okay. That's okay. You know what? Fine. Put some thought towards dark forest orcs
Yeah,
and cool pelts because that would be sick. Um, what have I been working on?
yeah. What have you been working on? Some
I'm
nerds.
building and painting nerds. So librarians aplenty. This today I finished my fourth librarian in this week.
Yep.
Um, and so I have three regular librarians, one of the old Primaris, two of the brand new ones from the box, and then one Terminator librarian that all got new paint. They look pretty good. I overdid the runes on the Terminator the Terminator version. Sadly, it's a little too bright. It's a little sloppy, and it made me sad. But it doesn't look that bad. It's just in comparison to the rest of the stuff, everything else looks lovely.
Sure. I don't even think. I mean, it doesn't even look bad, but I understand the personal.
I have
Yeah.
a
The
personal standard to adhere to.
yeah
Um,
yeah. Judging yourself a little bit harsher than anybody else will, but that's just life, right? So,
yeah. And then I
I
have
do have
10
a
Infernus Marines that need to be painted up in the next couple of days, which I'll have plenty of time to do. So,
yeah. You got tons of time. I I do have a Terminator sorcerer or not sorcerer librarian. If you need one, I do have one
oh,
that
well,
is sitting around doing nothing.
cool. I don't need one at the moment, but I will hit you up for
Oh yeah.
whenever that happens. If it happens, who knows if you need
Who
that many
knows?
Terminator librarians, which I kind of want to have them all. Because
Right.
librarians
You,
is sick, you
well, and
know?
you just have to have three of everything, right? Like at this point, you've committed
Yes.
so hard. You
Look,
gotta keep going.
I am Space Marines. I'm just looking at my
Yes.
closet full of them right now. That is me. I am Space Marine, and I'm not ashamed at all to say it. I embrace it.
And
Um,
that's okay.
and
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 we
for those
forgive
of
you.
you out there who get mad about somebody having, you know, space wolves that are orange or whatever that are orange, you can fuck right off because my paint probably looks better than your paint. Guy who
Dang.
only plays one faction and gets mad when other people do different stuff. Like, go fuck yourself. Uh,
Nah. I think the issue lies when I fully support the custom paint scheme. I think the issue is when you say, uh, here's my Ultramarines, or rather, oh look, I'm playing Blood Angels, but it's just all of your Ultramarine models you put on the table. Like, but even then, like, I'm not gonna like gatekeep you about it. Fucking play whatever you want. But like, that's when I get a little bit of like, can we do something?
yeah.
But
No,
I'm still not gonna.
I don't disagree. It's there is a point where it's kind of like, come on, man. That's not it. Like, if it's a very well painted army,
Hmm.
okay. Like, do it. Do what you know. If you own Space Wolves, but you want to play them as Ultramarines, fine. If it's really well painted, but if it's like Krylon engine gloss blue,
Right.
fuck off. Maybe a
Fuck
little
off.
fuck off.
Yeah. I think the only time that I've seen it that it has like legitimately upset me, and it was a tournament environment, so it's a little bit different. But it was like it was right as or not right as it was like a point in I think ninth edition. A small portion of ninth edition where Death Watch were good for like a day. Um And so people started playing Death Watch because they turned out to be good, and it was just a fully an Ultramarines army. He was just like, "No, look, it's Death Watch." I'm like, "All right, man, come on." Like now you're actually just playing this because it's better than the thing that you painted, and Death Watch is a highly specific thing that you should build and model for.
Look, I've considered it. I've considered just like I have these heavy intercessors and these, I have all the different gravities. I have all the units, like every last one of them that you would need, and then you just compose them into the kill teams and say, yes, I'm playing Orange Death Watch now.
Which again is still better than just putting your Ultramarine army on the table and saying it's Death Watch now. So
Well, I don't know. As long as it's really hard to like get upset with any upsetty spaghetti about it at all with anyone when it comes down to
yes.
it. It is
Oh,
it's
for
a
sure.
weird thing. It's like it's a weird position to take where it's just like, yeah, but like if it's a bunch of like cobbled together stuff where you borrowed this unit from a friend and this unit from a
Yeah.
friend and then you dug a tank out of a dumpster and you're like, this army is 18 different colors, but it's the new hot meta list, like go fuck yourself. Maybe go fuck yourself in that case. Maybe.
But if anything, if we're still on the Death Watch train, that might be the most Death Watch way to do it.
That is true. After
I
all,
borrowed all of these dudes from other people.
yeah, because they watch from death. That's
They
a
do
quote
watch
from
from death.
that's the quote from the best Warhammer novel series of all time. Uh whatever that one was. Anyway, uh
So War of the Beast.
War of the Beast. Don't read those books. All
It's so
right.
funny because they're not all bad. They're not pure
No,
garbage, but god
no.
damn, are
There's
there quotes
moments.
that ruin the whole thing?
There's moments that are just not good, and that's all right. Um that's what happens when you release a book series inside of a year amongst 12 different authors.
That
Uh
is.
rough. Anyway, before we move on to our primary topic today, let's take a moment. Did you know that 1 in 6 dice rolls end in failure? If you've experienced disappointing rolls lasting more than 3 turns, you may be suffering from standard probability. Ask your hobby store today if Baron of Dice is right for you. Baron of Dice can't prevent you from rolling a 1, but they can make that failure look absolutely gorgeous with premium resin dice designated for nearly every faction in Warhammer. Don't settle for boring cubes. Roll with confidence, roll with style. Use code YOP at Baron of Dice for 5% off your order. Baron of Dice, because even when you can't beat the odds, you can look incredible trying.
It's true.
It's true.
Pour one out for the ones or the
Look,
failures. They're not always ones.
yeah, it's a problem for all of us, or
It's true.
at least 1 in 6 of us, that
At
sometimes
least
you
one in
just
six.
can't get it up. Anyway, let's talk about the Space Marine bandwagon that's going on right now, and the reasons why. Like, number one, we're going to talk about the detachments that are like, man, these fuck. And then we're going to talk about the units as well. Like, man, these fuck.
These fuck,
There's
yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff out there that's like, wow, this is like really really good right now. Which is, and then we're going to balance it out a little bit. Uh, Shocker, Space Marines probably not broken. They're strong, very strong.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but by no means are they broken. But we'll get to those details. But to highlight the first most important thing, it's Librarius. Librarius is a very good 1 DP detachment.
Yeah.
Um,
It
we'll talk about
probably
the
shouldn't
details as
be.
to why, but you've played into it a couple times now, Joey. What
I
is it
have.
about Librarius that is like gross?
They are so I mean, obviously um the Stern Guard brick and Oath of Momenting a vehicle or squadron of vehicles or whatever the case is, and just kind of killing whatever they want to kill. Obviously, that is like I think that's the big thing that people are looking at when they think Librarius. They're like, oh my god, look at this crazy fucking thing that you can do. Um, but like, let's be so clear. Librarius has it's one DP. It has what, four strats, three strats,
No strats,
no strats. It has
only
three
enhancements.
enhancements. They all suck. The enhancements are not good.
No, the
What
enhancements are
is
great.
good is the buff, right? The buff is Fusilier. Is that from
So
Librarius?
the way it works is there are two really really good enhancements that you can take
Oh,
in
okay.
Librarius. First, the most important one that you mentioned is Fusillade. That is your character leading a unit, your librarian gives that unit anti-vehicle 5 up and
Yeah.
sustain 1.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I mean, I knew what it did. I don't know. For some reason, I thought that the enhancements were coming from different detachments.
no,
Uh,
the enhancements from libraries are what makes it. So
okay.
so Stern Guard reroll hits into the oath target, obviously, and then reroll wounds into the oath target with anti-vehicle 5 up. It's like you just kind of do 20 plus mortal wounds, like without even
Yeah.
thinking about it. And
Yeah.
it just kind of kills, like they just kind of kill what they look at.
For sure.
Um,
They're very
and
good. The thing that gets me is a lot less of the Stern Guard thing because they're gonna kill something, uh, and then I'm gonna kill them. So I'm much less concerned about that, and I'm much more concerned about +2 movement on anything with a librarian. That, like, 7-inch moving Terminators are terrifying. Those shouldn't exist. Even Emperor's Children Terminators don't move 7 inches, and they have advance in charge. Even they don't do that. Like,
yeah,
it's
so that's
it.
the buff. So librarians get to choose between one of like 6 different buffs. In the end, you're going to pick between 2 most of the time. One
Mhm.
of which is the one that gives you 2 inches of movement on every unit led by a librarian. The other one is additional AP for shooting units with librarians in them. So most people hang out in pyrokinesis. That's the additional AP.
Mhm.
So you can do some really really nasty stuff with that. Those Stern Guard vets who did not wound the vehicle on the 5, if they're pointing into infantry, good luck for infantry at all AP2 weapons, you know? But the Terminator one, or I consider it the Terminator one because of the fact that you want that extra movement from them. Um, but there's an enhancement as well that gives you advance in charge, which is
So good.
the most important thing for just about any Space Marine detachment. There's a lot of detachments that aren't good until you give at least one good unit advance in charge.
Yeah.
And if you can move a unit 7 inches, if you can advance in charge with that unit of Terminators, you're going to want to stick a big brick of Terminators in just about every list that you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
It is a
It's
lot.
real it's real good.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid of, honestly. I'm far more afraid of the Terminator break because I can kill and almost anybody, right? Almost any army
You
can
can deal with
kill
Stern
the
Guards. Yeah.
Stern Guard. They can kill the Stern Guard vets with an almost equal points investment. Like, they're not crazy. They
Hmm.
are very killable. The
Yes.
Terminators, you're not killing them with an equal points investment. You're maybe killing them with double the points investment, which is like 800, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Um,
you've got two really interesting options with Terminators. Like the most the most standard that you're going to see right now are hammer terminators because they have shields. That shield gives them an extra wound. That extra wound takes them up to 2 up, 4 wound terminators. And that's really hard for any army to get through.
yeah,
I so I played against my teammate Badger the other day, and Badger pointed his entire army at that brick. And I was pushed down to the librarian.
yep,
It was a Necron army that did it.
yeah,
So, and you're just like, okay, this is pretty strong. And I just literally just stuck it in the middle of the board and said, have fun.
right.
Um,
Well, because if it takes an entire army to do it, then that means that their entire army isn't playing the rest of the game.
correct. So yeah, the other option that you can do with Terminators are claws. Um, let's think about lightning claws for just a second here. So lightning claws are 6 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage. Now imagine, if you will, a full brick of Terminators at strength 6, or sorry, strength at 6 attacks. So that's
Hmm.
60 swings,
Yep.
hitting on threes,
Yeah.
wounding typically on fours or fives or threes, right? It just
Or
kind of
threes,
depends.
because you have, well, and you have a +1 to wound with oath. So like
Yep.
you're never
And a
wounding
lot
on
of
sixes.
different detachments you can find +1 to wound. Like it's it's a lot. Like that
And
brick just
even
kind of eviscerates what it sees.
that's not to mention the fact that they are twinly.
They're twin. Yeah, I mean, into the oath target, it's quite literally full rerolls. You
Yeah.
can find with the if they have a librarian, they have sustained.
It's more you don't have your hands. You don't your hands aren't big enough for these dice.
No, no, it is an orc amount of dice with a marine amount of killiness. And that unit is like 60 points cheaper or something like that, or 50 points
Sure.
cheaper.
Yeah, because the shields are an extra 5 now.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
shields are an extra 5.
Hey, I'll pay 5 points for an extra wound.
It's really yeah. I love the shields personally, but
For sure.
I'm gonna build 10 claws regardless, just because it's
Yeah.
awesome.
You
So
may
yeah,
as
that's
well,
the
right?
and then like Librarius just mixes with so much stuff so nicely. For starters, you have probably what you're going to see a lot of, which is going to be the Canic Bar detachment. So the Hammer of Evernai, that detachment plus like you literally play two bricks of 10-man Terminators.
Mhm.
One led by Canic, one led by a Librarian, and then you just have a bunch of stuff, including your Sternguard brick, and that army is it's playing priority assets, so it just wants to control the board in the middle most of the time and do really
Yeah.
just do that really well. You know what I'm saying?
Can you
Um,
imagine? This is where I think it's combinations like that where we see, I think, a little bit of the like active stance of balancing dispositions that GW took in the very beginning, and obviously that's going to continue. Because just imagine if that was taken hold.
oh my god, if that detachment was taken hold, I mean, good luck everyone else. But there's other detachments that do take and hold better. Um, Reclamation Force from Ultramarines. Force from Ultramarines. Let's just kind of look at that for a second. If you are standing on an objective, you are -1 to wound if strength higher than toughness.
Sure.
Okay. Now imagine bricks of Terminators with that. Doesn't that
Yeah.
feel nice? Let's make
No.
it worse. If you do a melee attack onto a unit that's standing on an objective, that's additional AP as well. So those lightning claws go to AP3. Those hammers go to AP3. Um, and you just eviscerate everything you see. Like it is really like that's a really good way to play take and hold is just throw a bunch of Terminators on the board and say have fun. I mean, you're playing Ultramarines, so you have access to some of the best characters in the game. Um, and yeah, it works just in so harmoniously with Librarius that it's just a great combination.
For sure. It's very, very strong.
Another thing you're probably going to see from Space Marines is what I'm playing, which is going to be Forge Father Seekers. Forge Father Seekers is a Purge the Foe Space Marine detachment. Um, if you put Librarians with Infernus Marines, they're AP2 Flamers, Strength 6, AP2 Flamers, 1 damage. You can have a Librarian with Immolator, then you're 10d6 plus 10 shots. Um, you can give one Fusillade and then just kind of roast vehicles if you want to, or just have the Sternguard brick. Why not?
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Cerner perk is like so it's when I say it's so cheap that you should just take it, and that's not like I don't think it's too cheap. I don't think it's
it's like
broken. I
300
just think that
points roughly,
I think that it is pointed low enough that I don't understand why you wouldn't bring it.
right? Absolutely. Now, another detachment that is seeing like real genuine play. It's the uppy downy Space Marine detachment with Librarius,
Mm-hmm. As orbital assault.
Orbital Assault Force. You're just playing Grey Knights, but with the firepower of Space Marines.
Yeah.
And with Librarius, it just gets gross, like really fucking gross. So
Thank
that's
God.
something to be mindful of.
Thank God, or I don't know. Thank Josh Roberts that Grey Knights don't have Librarius.
right? Because
I'm good. We're
yeah,
good. We don't
no,
need that.
they just have better librarians, but in the end, like it's Grey Knights, so you can't afford to put anything on the table.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I didn't look at their points. I assume they got some drops.
no, they pretty much stayed the same.
Cool.
It's
Good
bad
talk.
times all the time for the Grey Knights still.
Well, we'll
Um,
talk about that.
yeah, we'll get there. Now as far as like, look, we've been talking about how good Librarius is, but you know what is also really good? Fulgris.
Fulgris.
Um, Fulgris is the speeder detachment that can
Yeah.
blend itself with other speeder detachments. That can blend itself perfectly with an Ironstorm detachment. Ironstorm being the other major purge the foe option, and then Fulgris, you get to alpha strike with your speeders super effectively, and then your new speeders get to come in on turn one, do a bunch of shooting, and then move 6 inches.
Now, Jeremy, who, what Space Marines have good, other than obviously all of them with the new one speeder, but what Space Marines have good speeders?
Well, let me think. I believe it's the Dark Angels have some pretty
Yes, the
exceptional
Dark
speeders.
Angels that have two signature speeders that were already good.
Yeah, and there's one in particular, the Vengeance, of course, that is, a plasma. I mean, it's plasma. It's 125 points for a D6 plus one plasma gun. So it's what you want from a Redemptor Dreadnought in most circumstances, but super fast and about 75 points less, if not
Right.
80 points less. So
Yeah, quite a bit less. Yeah, because it's 120.
120.
Then when
So
yeah.
85 points less.
And then let's look at this thing. So it is the hazardous profile is D6 plus one, twin linked, and 933, which is actually exceptional.
Exceptional. And you could, if you want to, run the plasma detachment to make that strength 10 if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just in case. Hey, you don't have access to plus one to wound. Not that it matters super much, but you don't have access to it.
Who cares? Your AP3 damage 3 plasma guns are twin linked.
That's true.
It also moves 14 inches.
Let's not talk about that in
Anywho,
public, Joey.
sorry. We're going to get too excited.
The Landspeeder Vengeance is amazing. I
It's
have
very
one
good.
that I built in 2 in box still.
I'm so glad you have 2 in box.
Look, I'm there's going to be a time in this edition where I'm putting 15 Deathwing Knights back on the table. We all know it's going to
Yeah.
happen. That's the way life works. You have a signature unit, you play signature unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
GW
so
took mine away, and I've been sad ever since.
yeah.
So
Now, what we don't have, thankfully, is that none of our 1DP detachments have access to like a broken disposition. Not that any of them are really broken at this point, but I can't just do anything I want and purge the foe, which is really
sure.
good for the game, I feel.
Yes. No, it is. Yeah. I think for any of them, and there's a couple of them that are, but I think that when not for this isn't going to be true for every army, right? But when you have 1 DP detachments that combo in such a deadly way, like Space Marines, giving 1 DP detachments purge the foe is very dangerous.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
very
really
grateful that
dislike it when they do that.
yeah, I'm very grateful that they did not do that.
I feel like you should have like the only 1 DPs that you should have are the ones that require brain, which are priority, reconnaissance, and disruption. Whereas purge and take and hold are just brainless activity when it comes down to
Yeah,
it.
that's fair.
So that's just a general thought. But speaking of other really strong things, have you run into a Land Raider Redeemer recently?
No.
Well, people are bringing them in force.
Right? Or no, you did. You
We're
had
seeing
one. Yeah,
people with
you did have
3.
one. I don't like 3. Let me tell you that I don't like 3. When I tell you I don't like 3, believe me, I don't like 3.
People are bringing them 3 of them in Forge Father Seekers. So
Of course.
that's 3 things that advance at you, shoot
Yep.
at you,
Yep.
and then you have to start shooting guns at them. And hiding within them is typically going to be 10 Infernus Marines that if you do not happen to kill it, they can spend a CP for that unit to get out with its librarian and
Yeah.
hit you at full attack with AP2 damage one guns.
I mean, like do we hate 3 Land Raider Redeemers with 30 Infernus Marines?
Uh 750 plus about 750 because
It's
you'd
tech
want librarians in each one, so it's 1,500
it's
points.
technically it's 770 for the Land Raiders because the third one is 20 points more.
Well, that's right. So you're looking close to 1,600 points for that. I think 2 max. I wanna play
Sure.
1 because I wanna play the game of Warhammer with more
Yeah.
with more units.
Do you I guess what's Forge Father's disposition?
Well, that's Purge.
It sure is. Okay, and then
Yeah.
Librarius is Recon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. So
If
that's
it was if
that's
it was
currently a very good one.
if it were Taken Hold, it would be better. Like, that
Oh,
idea would be more viable if you had
for
Taken
the
Hold.
triple land raider?
Yeah, triple Land Raider 30 Infernus Marines would be less funny and more scary if it was Taken Hold.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Um, it's gonna be really fun. I can't wait to try to do some take and hold, once
Mhm.
they dirt librarius because that's gotta happen. Um,
Yeah.
because like I love the idea of the uh taking hold from the Ultramarines one, what I was just talking about, with a bunch of Terminators with -1
Yep.
to wound. Like, let's just play Deathwing Knights again effectively. Um, but I can bring bricks of 10. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's worse now because everybody kind of owns Space Marines.
Yeah. But I do think that there is good news or hope on the horizon. I say as the like even then I don't think that it's crazy. They're not, you know, dominating every event. Like I mean, obviously it's been a week. We have one weekend's worth of data. But like they didn't dominate on the first week. We've had multiple GTs across the world. They're not dominating. They're performing exceptionally well for Space Marines, but also realistically, they're barely performing better than GW wants them to be performing.
It's
It's
true.
just that that is very rare for Space Marines to be that high.
Yeah, we'll get into
Um,
the brass tacks of it all in terms of
yeah,
numbers,
but
but
the good news is that none of this matters in a month.
not at all because we're getting a new codex, folks.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean in general for Space Marines? That means new army rules. So Oath of Moment is going away, which I understand.
Yeah.
It's very strong. It's been very strong the whole time. Um, and then all the units are going to get redone, and so we're probably going to see the intercessor as it is, just completely back to garbage, as it always is at the beginning of the edition. We're probably going to see assault terminators not nearly as good as they are right now,
Right.
unless they get
We're
better. Like, you never know. Like, assault terminators in were super maligned in 10th edition. Um, and they're awesome right now, but we'll see
right
what ends
now.
up happening
Yep.
considering that they
Um,
wrote the codex for this army when all of this stuff wasn't great.
right. We're probably going to see Vanguard vets go the direction of every specialized unit and not have the ability to take a special weapon for every guy.
Yeah. I can't
Um,
imagine they have the ability to have every pistol known to man.
right. In which case, rest in peace, Vanguard vets. It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah, they better get something that makes them interesting or good, if that's the
Yeah.
case.
It's got to be something, right?
Because like otherwise, I
And
have
I,
jump back intercessors. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing is that I really have no idea what that thing would be because Sternguard vets is the wound rerolls.
right?
That's what they have going for them over regular intercessors. So, but you can't just give the same rule to Vanguard vets. Like that is
No,
lame.
N- like I think that they should just do something with the veterans, everything. So Blade Guard vets, Vanguard vets, Stern Guard vets, create a rule that they all use
Hmm.
effectively. Like, all the Terminators have that stupid little thing that they put in the preview, the the homing beacon or whatever,
Yeah.
that thing that nobody uses, right? Do something like that for the veterans where they all
Mhm.
have a similar rule, but they fill different roles.
Yeah. Well, because then that opens a design space for them to go into the divergent chapters or the non-compliant chapters and say like, oh hey, sanguinary guard have the veteran keyword, and then they get that rule because they're veterans, right? And like it opens up, I think, some interesting design space if they were to actually explore that.
Yeah, they could do a lot with Space Marine units, in both the way that you're condensing and simplifying the codex to some degree, but also creating genuinely fun and interesting complex stuff. Like we're getting new Outrider kits that have hammers and stuff. That's a huge boost to have
Huge
a different
boost.
weapon profile on that unit. You know,
Yeah, and they are, listen, Outriders were cheap before.
80
They
points.
are ungodly cheap right now.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily recommend you bring a pile of them, but they are they can be quite good in
They
the
can be
right
quite good.
detachment.
Yeah, in the right detachment, or sometimes I don't know. Space Marines just don't have a 70-point unit that's that fast.
No. No, we don't we really don't, because everything
So
costs
like,
at least 80 points, 80, 85 points.
except for them. And so like they could just do an action, I guess.
Yeah,
And
which
I
is
know that
great.
that has not been the Space Marine list building philosophy in a very long time because your units are more expensive. But like, especially as uh, an occasional knife eared player, like 70 points is more than, like, I'm more than willing to throw 70 points away for 5 victory points.
Easy. It's
So,
one of the easiest decisions anyone can make. Um, so now that we've kind of talked about Marines to some degree, do you think that so we're getting obviously Marines and Orcs very
yep.
close in release. So where do you put your bets on? Because like we've always had the dichotomy of a good one and a bad one
Yeah.
releasing. So where do you think
Yep.
your money is in terms of how that release goes?
You know, we have talked about this, and I had a different opinion than the opinion that I have now as I have thought about it a little bit more. And I think that we probably feel the same way now that orcs will come out overtuned and Space Marines will come out undertuned. I don't think that they're going to be like egregiously undertuned, like unplayably undertuned. I think that they will just the codex will be weaker than they are right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I am in agreement. I think it's going to be undertuned because it's going to be in a very it's going to be designed with 11th edition in mind, and everything else was designed with 10th edition in mind, and typically when you have armies exhibiting rules from previous editions, those armies tend to have a upper hand until their new codex comes out.
Yep.
It's not always the
Especially
case, but yeah.
with like this like edition release is very interesting from like the dichotomy of how army rules interact with rules of the game, because it they did what they normally do where it's that like every other edition is a hard reset and then this one is actually just like an update, but they updated it enough that like you're still playing the game. Like if you knew how to play before, you still know how to play 40K. It's not a complete change, but the things that changed are so significant that rules built for 10th edition interact with 11th edition in a lot of cases a broken and potentially unintended way, because or not an unintended way, but just like a passive way of GW saying, yeah, we know that this doesn't really look great, but it's going to change when they get their codex, right?
Just
And they just kind of,
the sheer volume of stuff that ignores cover available in 10th edition and options to strip cover is just significant.
yeah,
And cover in 11th edition is insane how strong it is.
yes,
And if you can just have a unit that pops onto the board, strips cover to give your whole army the ability to just kill stuff, like that is a huge boon. So I expect there to be less of that in new
yes.
codexes.
So I would expect that, and it's all going to depend on the release schedule, right? If they're releasing at least one codex monthly, I sincerely hope that it is more. But if they release at least one codex every month, I think Space Marines will come out and they will feel undertuned. They will look weaker than they are right now. And then in 6 months' time, when 6 or 9 or whatever the case is, sometime down the road, when a bulk of the armies also have 11th edition designed rules, Space Marines will start to feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. And then orcs being much the punching bag of 10th edition rules writing, they're probably going to get some really nice rules. We're already seeing the strength increase, I believe, or was it toughness increase across the board?
Strength, it has
So
increased some. Toughness, they were already 5.
gotcha. So now everything is much. There's a lot more strength 5 right now instead of strength 4.
Yeah,
Or
because
so,
boys, like, if I remember correctly, boys were 4 going to 5 in the WoW, and now they're 5. So 5 going to 6 is huge.
and that's that is significant. So Um, we're already seeing the small things that they're looking to make the life of an orc player better. I do expect that codex to be overtuned.
Yeah.
Um, just look at the points outright.
Yeah, the
Like,
points
dear
are
God.
currently overtuned. But even, like, you can look at it from, like, you can look at the release of Armageddon and just kind of extrapolate the way that GW does things, because they do things that seemingly don't make sense at first, and then 2 months later something comes out and you go, oh, this makes sense now.
Mhm.
uh, and you can just look at the models, right? The Space Marine models suck. They're so fucking boring. There's like 2 things that are cool, and the rest of that box is just boring.
It's
uh,
a dick punch of a release for Marines. Like, cool, we
yeah.
have new Van Vets, we have a new speeder. Captain looks cool, Ancient looks cool, but like, there's nothing unique or interesting about any of those models outside of the textures on the banners.
Yep. Whereas the orc models are insane. Every
Completely
single
resculpted.
one of them, completely resculpted. They're crazy. They're gorgeous, and they're not slowing down. The things that they showed us, this new truck model that's absolutely
So good.
wild, so good. Um, that, like, you could just, if that's the only thing you look at, that you can go, as cool as these models are, as, like, unbelievable amounts of work that they've put into this, they realistically cannot then release a weak codex.
Yeah. If they get a weak codex after all this cool shit, that'd be crazy.
They're just not going to do that.
Yeah. And like, if we look back at 10th edition, like Space Marine get new Terminators all over the
Hmm.
place. Like,
Yep.
that alone, I think, was like, oh, congratulations. This is the Space Marine edition, which it largely was. Um, and it's look, we're the poster boys. That's fine. That's the way it goes. Um, but with orcs getting the same treatment, it's probably hopeful to say that we're going to see lots and lots of orc players in this edition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. The only, like, disappointing orc release that we've seen so far is the kill team. And that's not the models. The models are amazing. It's the fact that the kill team is boys and not knobs. And
Fair
so
enough.
now we are 3 updated boy kits since we have had 1 knob update.
Look, your knobs
So
can fuck themselves.
they got it. I need new knobs. I need new knobs
I'm sure you'll get a new knob. There's no way you don't.
for sure. Like, it's, but there's, if you go, we'll tinfoil hat for a second.
Ooh.
Um, if you go look at the orc data sheets,
Uh huh.
right now on the Warhammer app, there are there is more than 1 leader for orcs currently that is listed as leading a unit that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So we are far from over getting new shit. That codex will not be bad. Like,
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good to start. We're gonna see orcs everywhere. But I don't, as long as the orc shooting isn't oppressive, then fine. Because if you're doing a melee presence army and that melee presence army is good, at least you have more options to play around that. You know?
And
Like,
that's the
sure,
and
you're
you've
gonna
played
load up
against
kill rigs and everything else and just drive them straight forward, send all your stuff on turn two. Like you can do all that easy enough, and it'll work. Um, but there's you can play into that. Whereas if more DACA stayed the way it had been in 10th edition, like everybody would have just been sad.
right. And you've played against, right? Like that's what I'm currently playing is a shooty focused orcs. And I think that they're at this point right now because of the change in rules, right? That they are far more efficient than orc shooting probably ever should be.
A little bit,
And
yeah.
I think when you play against it, it is at least the first time, like kind of shocking
It
how
is.
good it is,
Yeah.
but it's not too good.
No, it feels it's
It's
like the
just
Stern Guard brick, you know?
right. It's just good enough that you go, whoa, orcs can shoot, and then you just continue playing the game and everything's okay. Where it's not like, oh my god, orcs can shoot, and also I'm tabled.
Yeah. It's like,
It's
oh my god, orcs can shoot, but you know what? You still have to roll a lot of fives and sixes to hit anything.
right. Yeah,
And
you just
look,
have a
they're
billion dice, so it's
and
fine.
then you look, you're throwing a billion dice, and so it just turns into like regular shooting in the end, which is fine. Um, so as long as they we avoid the orc shooting is too good bullet, then I think everything will be okay. Like if they can just get into a comfortable space that where they're just a strong army, a strong choice for the whole edition, that would be so awesome to see, considering they've been so out of touch for or out of hand, like they've just been kind of
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, because they got their codex early 10th edition.
Yeah.
Um, it was wildly overtuned for one detachment. One detachment was wildly overtuned. And then their answer at that time, because this is like kind of the beginning of GW actually actively trying to balance things properly. Um, their answer at that time was one thing is too strong, we'll slap the entire codex into the fucking dirt.
Yep. Which happens
Um,
so frequently.
and then they sat there for over a year, and then Mordaka came out, and it was too good, and it was too good for a month, and then they slapped that back into the dirt, and then the
And then
same thing
Tactical
happened
Orcs happened,
with
and it was too
Tactical
good.
Brigade, right? And like they do this constantly, where they're like, "Here's a new orc thing. Oh shit, that's way too strong," but it's only too strong for like a month,
Just
and then it went from too strong to unplayable, and that's where like that's the teeter totter that orcs rode for the entire edition.
we just gotta keep orc shooting bad or
Yeah.
mediocre to
Yep.
make sure that orcs don't get nerfed into oblivion. Like they're a
That's it.
melee army with silly shooting. Embrace that bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway.
I agree.
So that's it for Space Marine specific topics today. Where there's a lot more stuff that's like really good that we will probably get into, but we need to see more data over the course of the next few weeks into Tacoma. Speaking of Tacoma, let's talk about the list that we're bringing, um,
Yeah.
and what we're preparing for. So, Joey, why don't you take us through your orc list and
I can absolutely do that.
what you're going to
So
be
I
running and gunning with here?
I am playing Dread Mob and more DACA. Um
Purge and purge.
so purge and purge. I will in fact be purging. The good news, it's pretty good at it. So
Yeah,
so I
it
will
kills
be
stuff.
doing that. It kills stuff. Yeah, I mean, do you want me to run through the whole list? I can.
Yeah, might as well kind of run through it and talk about
Yeah. Um
what the matchups you're hoping for.
Yeah, so I've got a big mech with the Git Finder goggles. That's ignoring cover. He is leading a unit of tank busters because tank busters ignoring cover with +1 to hit and wound on vehicles is quite good. I've got a shock attack gun who is leading Ludas. He does not have an enhancement because he doesn't need one. I have Ball Snickrat because I think that he's still an auto include for the game. There's Gazgul. He's got 10. He's got a unit of 20 boys with him and a pain boy. And then I have just a regular mech with a second unit of tank busters. The mech doesn't really do anything except give the tank busters access to the dread mob detachment rule because it gives them the mech keyword. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all he's there for. And I didn't have enough points for it to be another big mech, so that's fine. We've got the aforementioned 20 boys. I've got 2 units of grots because if they're not going to cap my CP, I'm going to get a lot of. Now, granted, grots don't like. I can't get a billion CP in one turn from one unit or from even 2 units of grots, but that doesn't matter. Extra CP is good. I have good stratagems.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 trucks. I've got 2 units of 6 kilocans with claws and rocket launches.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Uh, quite good. I have enjoyed the 1 unit a lot, and after playing with you a couple of times, we changed some stuff around and decided that a second unit was going to be better overall and more.
Oh, yeah.
They're just good. They're good.
It's tough.
They're not
It's mean.
crazy.
Like, fucking just
Yeah,
go.
they're good. I have a unit of commandos because infiltrating is still very good. The 10 Ludas that are going with the big mech with shock attack gun. I've got 5 Storm Boys because they're good. 2
Storm
units
boys are
of
great, man. Advanced
Storm
shoot and
Boys are
charge or fallback shoot and charge as a rule is
fallback
just
shoot
nice.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's advanced fallback charge. I don't think they can shoot, but still.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then 2 units of, like I said, 2 units of tank busters. So it's kind of just it's a decent amount of beef. It's a whole lot of bullets. And then I have some silly little cans running around.
Now,
So
you are bringing this list because you are running it for Dale to get his army judged at the level of GW at GW's judging perception.
yes,
Um, so he can because he's bringing his world eaters, right?
yep, yeah, he's bringing his world eaters, and he wanted to get both of his armies. One of them that is painted phenomenally well, and then one
Yep.
of them that is almost
Converted.
100% converted,
Yeah.
and not painted poorly by any means.
But not quite
Just
as well as those world eaters.
right, not quite as well, and not as like poppy as the world eaters, right? Um, and so he wanted to get those 2 armies both judged and then kind of compare them against each other to see what is GW value, because if you ask the judges, they won't actually tell you.
So if you
Uh,
could make the changes to the list that you had access to, were you not doing this on Dale's behalf, like what units would you introduce? What units would you take out?
um, I mean, let's see, how many points was this? 115, 185. So, uh, at a minimum, I am adding another unit of 10 Ludas. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
with a shock attack gun. The shock attack gun is very good. It could be a big mech. It doesn't really matter. I just need the keyword. Uh, but the shock attack gun is good. I do enjoy it. Battle shock matters. So like taking a battle shock test after I shoot you is just kind of useful. Um, realistically, I think if I were to take, I should also say that one unit of the unit of tank busters with the baby mech and the Ludas have the enhancement to get rapid fire, and then if you already have rapid fire, it's rapid fire 2. So the Ludas are rapid fire 2, which is insane.
Okay.
The unit of tank busters with the big mech does not have rapid fire because the big mech actually just gives them more than just a keyword. So that's that. Anyway, so I would add more Ludas. I think realistically, if I were playing this list for me, purely for me, with access to anything, I would be playing 30 Ludas.
How many DACA walkers?
At least 2 that I think, and if we drop the 12 kilocans, then it's an additional 20 Ludas to make the 30, and it's 2 Docker rigs, and then whatever else I have points for.
Yeah, the that walker
It's
is
so good.
it's amazing.
It's so good. I have looked at making like the list that I built for myself originally was Green Tide. I've looked at making it Tactical Brigade or not tactical grade, freebooter crew, because the sustained hits is orc infantry or walker. And
That's
so
pretty
you
good.
just go that objective, i.e., that piece of terrain,
Uh-huh.
uh, is my looted objective, and I will have sustained against everything that is touching it. And then next turn, I'll pick a different one.
I bet Freebooter Crew is really good right now, actually.
Freebooter crew is
Thought.
very good. It's
Yeah.
um, the list that I built was green tide because I wanted to put 100 boys on the table while I comfortably could. Um, but I also, it's probable that I will not acquire and paint 100 boys in the time that it exists as it does.
No, I
So,
don't think that'll happen.
but the double, like 2 Docker rigs at 100 points, those things are crazy. They're so good.
Yeah, that
Um,
shooting profile is insane at 100 points.
it's so good. Uh, it's crazy to look at an orc shooting profile that is just good and say, hey, it's just good. And then if you're shooting at, we'll say Marines, because let's be honest, it's Marines.
Uh-huh.
If you're shooting at Marines, somehow it's better,
Yeah,
is
somehow.
kind of crazy.
It's just so good. Oh my god.
It's just so good.
What a
It's
unit.
so good. For
My
100
goodness.
points,
Yeah.
quite good. And it is worth noting, for those that do want to play Dread Mob, that obviously it is the big mech Docker rig and it does have the mech keyword. They did not overlook that. So you do get the Dread Mob abilities.
You get the buttons.
You get the buttons, which is great. It's sustained or lethal or the
Or
other one
pick one
doesn't
and
matter.
yeah.
Don't do it.
Well, it sounds like it's gonna be fun, and I can't wait for you to get more orcs on the table because you could play melee, you could play shooting, you have options, and it's gonna be a good codex. So I hope
It
that you
is.
stick with them for much of the edition so that we can really see you put a lot of effort into painting one army for
Yeah.
the whole edition. That's what I
I'm
would like to see.
That's fair. And I don't blame you. I would also like to see it. I'm hopeful in that possibility. Um, because like I've said for months now that I want a melee pressure, not toughness 3 army. Orcs can do that. Um, I also said, I think 2 weeks ago when we talked about like what makes me bounce around armies that I get bored. Orcs have options and they have different builds. There's even right now before the codex, there's 4 or 5 different detachment combinations that are good and incredibly viable. So the options are there. The ability or the like getting bored shouldn't happen. They're super fun to play. They're fun to paint. Like it should in theory this works perfectly. We will see.
We'll see. Okay, so I for Tacoma, I am bringing Space Marines. Huge surprise, I know. I'm going to be playing Forge Father's Seekers
Yeah.
because if you've got the good thing and have to do very little work to make the good thing better, I'm going to do that. I had to.
Yes,
This
for
list
sure.
cost me no extra money, just time to paint it. It's just stuff I had, so can't be more excited about that.
I also think that
As
like
far as
they're
characters go, I'll do the characters that are alone than the
yeah.
squads. So the most notable alone character, now that hidden is a rule, is Vulcan. He's Heston, because Vulcan, you just pop him into a ruin and by himself. He is no friends with him, no company of heroes, no extra points devoted to a guy who just needs to point at stuff, who doesn't really need to shoot his gun unless it's way late and crazy. Um, and get full reroll, flamers and torrent or not torrent. So torrent weapons and melta weapons get full rerolls into that target. 24-inch, see thing, do thing. Don't do any shooting. Never get seen until people are already way too close anyway. A lieutenant with combi because you just bring those. They're good. They'll always be good.
Mhm.
Um, the next up, I have a Blade Guard veteran squad with Ajax Agatone. Now that all the terrain is all of the objectives, he is like this unit is now exceptional because he halves the OC of whatever he's engaged with,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Um, Then I have 2 Infernus squads, each led by a librarian, which gives them a 4-up invul. And then, of course, in Pyrokinesis, you're strength 6 because you are +1 to strength when within 12. AP2, 1 damage. One of them has Fusillade, which gives them 10 extra shots, or 1 per model.
Hmm.
One's naked. Then we have, I have an Infiltrator squad to watch home. Not that it's a little less important to watch home these days, but you know what? Let's
Yeah.
have them anyway. A Redeemer, because they're 250 points. You bring them. A 10-man Sternguard veteran brick with a librarian that has Fusillade, so I can look at vehicle and destroy vehicle. And then a 10-man Terminator assault squad, all hammers and shields, with a Celerity librarian in Terminator armor. It is purge the foe or reconnaissance, which means purge the foe. Uh, and it is extremely killy.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Like absurdly so.
Yeah.
The sheer volume of attacks that you could put into people. I don't have to roll to hit except for like 2 units.
Yeah. You also
So
have, the most effective Overwatch, which is not
the
rolling to hit.
Lampreator Redeemer,
Even the Infernus Marines, it's
even
just
the
not
Infernus
rolling
Marines.
to hit.
Yeah, battle shocks are really cool. Uh, so you walk onto an objective. My dudes can walk onto the objective. Each have 2 OC. Shoot, potentially battle shock you. And so I've taken the objective. Oh, also they're going to cleanse because that detachment lets me advance, shoot, and action with those
Yeah.
units.
Yeah.
And then later in the game, once they're all dead and the librarians are just running around by themselves. Guess what? Librarians still get to do that because they're all the same unit still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really
So
good.
yeah,
I
I'm going to
really
play the
like
strong
that.
thing because I have it.
Yes. But I really like that change for leading. Which we don't need to get into because we have already, but I do like that. Um, yes, but you have the strong thing, play the strong thing. I do also think that there is a lot to be said about like somebody in your position who was playing a list that was incredibly similar to this already at the end of 10th edition, trying to make it better because it was cool and fun. It is still cool and fun. Now it is just good. So you've put all this work into it, and now you are being rewarded with a exceptional growth and strength. So ride that shit out, right? Like
Yeah.
play that shit.
I'm going to just enjoy this final month of Space Marines as they are. It's going to be a great time. We'll see what happens after the Codex. I have a very haunting feeling that the Infernus Marine is going to live for a month and die. So
Yeah,
we shall see.
we'll see. We'll see. Now, so while we're on the topic of Space Marines here and Tacoma specifically, what do you think? Let's give an over under. What do you think the percentage of Space Marine players, uh, we'll say non compliant included, obviously not, I will say not including Death Watch and Grey Knights because they have not
They have their
that.
own thing. Yeah.
They have their own thing. So, Space Marine players, what's your over under of percentage of players for Tacoma?
I believe that
We'll
roughly
say, let's put it at
thir-
35 and we'll say over under.
okay, so 35% of the field, I think under 35% will be Space Marines, but it will be very close to that 35.
Yeah. No, that's super fair. I think it's going to be over. I'm going to go over, and then I will still caveat it that I think it's going to be below 40. I think it's probably going to be 37, 38%, which is still an unbelievably high number.
It would be like
Um,
150 Space Marine players if that's the case, which
right,
it would
which
not
is
surprise me
crazy.
in the least if that was the case.
That's fair. But honestly, even if it's we're talking about a game that has 26 playable factions. Uh, if you are if your faction is 25% of a tournament, that's crazy.
To be fair, that is like 11 of the factions.
It is. But also, to be fair, half of those 11 are not going to get played.
That's true.
So,
Although
it's
they all have a better case to be played now, which is
they
fascinating.
do, for sure, which is very cool. Yeah. So before we move on into our next thing, or into our next topic, I think we do have one more quick thing to talk about, and that is Squadmarks! Squadmarks, Squadmarks! Are you tired of asking whose unit is that? Are your opponents wasting precious clock time trying to figure out your army? Well, get ready for Squadmarks! The magnetic-based rings that slam onto your models and make identifying squads, characters, and attachments fast, easy, and tournament ready. Whether you're charging straight onto the center objective, deep striking behind enemy lines, or desperately trying to remember which squad has the apothecary, Squadmarks has your back. With more colors, more clarity, more magnets than should legally fit on a miniature. Head over to squadmarks.com today and tell them that Yop sent you. Squadmarks, because confusion is for your opponents, not you.
Squadmarks, brother. Anywho, hey, let's talk about like choices around chasing the competitive scene right now. It's the beginning of the edition. Things are in a very interesting state. Is this the time that you actually go chasing after like the top of the meta?
It's a double-edged sword. Quick answer, if you have already been chasing the top of the meta and you are not changing armies, then continue chasing. I think that's fine. If you were not chasing, don't start right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait it out. Right? Wait it out.
Like right now, top of the meta is pretty Space Marine heavy. If you are not already a Space Marine player with like pretty much all that stuff ready to go, going after and buying all the stuff that's good right now is a bit of a folly because of the fact that they're all going to see so many changes here really soon. And 11th edition is going to change a lot over the next 6 months.
For sure.
Like it's not out of the park or out of the question that circles eventually make a comeback.
Yeah, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. Or even at least what I would like is if they just said like, because they could put it on the templates that they have or on the like map diagrams, if they go, the 40mm puck is here on the terrain, because there are still things of like, well, how do you consolidate closer if you're already in it, right? Like, what are we doing? So, and then like there are things that need to be addressed. There's like I think it's Mysterious Guardian, but there's the Imperial Knights thing that talks about like drawing a line from one objective marker to the other. Well, where the fuck are you drawing that line from?
Yeah,
it's terrain to terrain. So like there's some things that need to be addressed, and that could easily be fixed if they just said, hey, for the purposes of rules like that, the puck is here. But it also wouldn't surprise me for circles to come back. The point is that the edition is going to change fairly quickly. I think if you were chasing the competitive scene and you happened to be doing that while playing one of the top, we'll say 6 armies based on the data that we have, which we will get into, then keep chasing, but don't go buy a new army because of what's crazy right this second. It's going to change.
Yeah. I mean, that's generally the advice which you typically follow anyway. But and you know, more so lately in general, faction specialty is always like a good positive thing to maintain, and you just kind of if one of your factions that you own and play on a regular basis is at the top, you play it. But don't go out and buy and trade for armies just because, especially right now, considering the age of the edition, and we can expect a fairly consistent cadence in terms of updates, and just don't.
And I will say with that, the same like spirit of that is, if you will say, even if you were chasing competitive previously and you've got one of the armies that's, in the bottom 10, or you watched a tier list from a, you know, we'll say Art of War, and your army was put in C or D, and you think that that's crazy or think it doesn't make sense, like, you can also just take the stance of proving people wrong and playing the thing anyway.
Speaking of the Art of War faction tier list, let's
Well,
talk
I
about
brought it
that.
up for a reason.
Okay. This, yeah, I think it's funny for the most part. First and foremost, look, why is CSM S tier?
Okay. I will answer that question by saying my opinion on a lot of Art of War content. The caveat to that is that Art of War is comprised of some of the greatest players to ever play the game of 40.
That is certainly true.
Now, in recent years, they have a lot of members who are not on that level. However, they do still have a standard, and all of their members are way better than I am, but
There's still
they
like
are they are
GT winning
also,
people.
for sure, they're all great players. It's just that some of them happen to be the best players that have ever played this game so far, i.e., Dr. Richard Siegler
And slash Nick Nanavati slash Jack
slash Nick
Harpster,
Nanavati slash Jack Harpster, right? Like some of the best people
John
to ever
Lennon.
play this game. John Lennon, some of the best people to ever play this game, period, regardless of your opinions. Now, um, they are still at their core content creators who are good at making content.
They have gotten so much better at it.
They have gotten so much better. When I say good at it, I mean that they are good at making content that gets engaged with.
Oh yeah.
Their live and battle reports have gotten significantly better. When they started them like 2 years ago, they were almost unwatchable. They were very bad. They have improved significantly. They've come a long, long way. But what they are very, very good at is rage baiting and creating interaction on their own content, which you should do, to be clear.
Yes.
And I think that they do that a lot, especially on tier lists, that they will say things that are just crazy
For
to
example.
create interaction. For example, CSM S tier.
Yeah. CSM is not S tier. The Defiler, while strong, is nowhere near where it once was.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
Drukari C tier.
Drukari is much better than C tier.
Much better than C tier. They have already topped multiple events. That is not C.
No. And Deathwatch is not B.
Deathwatch, not B tier. There's a lot of very interesting choices.
This list feels very, very Richard Siegler inspired.
I think it's Jack. I
You
don't
think
remember
so?
who was in it. I think Jack was in it.
Because if I'm looking at it, number one, like, or at least like, because they have their own little meta fish tank, right?
Yeah.
Where, you put Siegler on Tau and the robot win. You put John on Marines and the Marines win, especially
Right.
John, the kid in a candy store right now with all those different builds he can play.
Yeah, well, and it's the same thing, right? It's if you put Siegler on Admech, it doesn't matter how bad they are, he's going to win that game.
Yeah. Donavati on CSM.
Nanavati on
time.
Elves. Like,
yeah. Siegler on Grey Knights will make a C tier army into an A tier army.
for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, rage bait content. Watch Art of War. You're still going to get really good advice most of the time.
Yes.
Honestly.
But yeah.
So one of the things that if you're, a painter, actually, before we get to that, let's take a look at the last couple weeks worth of data or last weekend's data.
I found it. It is Siegler and John. This list
Okay.
makes perfect sense.
It makes so much sense now.
Anywho, carry on.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring up the data
Yeah.
from Reddit, which is very stat check coded. It's events with 21 players or more that are at least 5 rounds from the past weekend, I believe.
Yes, yeah, from the July 3rd through 5th weekend.
Okay.
So the first official weekend of 11th edition, like first events.
Second official weekend, but
second official weekend, the first one that I know of that had GTs stapled to it. So what we have that is cool is tracking of dispositions.
Yes.
All of these dispositions fall, every single one of them, all five, fall heavily into GW's acceptable standards, which is 45 to 55%. Um, the best being 52.5%, which is nowhere close to 55, which is phenomenal. But in order, at 52.5%, we have priority assets. And then followed closely, 52.4% is Take and Hold. Shockingly, Recon dead in the middle at 50.8.
They have a great
Purge
matchup
the
with the Purge.
They do. Purge the Foe second to worst at 48.2.
Oh my god, what a drop off.
What a drop off. And then Disruption with the smallest player pool by almost half, but still 46.2% win rate.
Look, you put the
So
right players in a disruption that jumps. So
none what this says is that based on these small sample size of data that we have right now, none of the disruptions are bad.
no, all the
They're
dispositions seem very
dispositions,
playable.
yes, not disruption. Disruption is another thing.
Yeah.
All of the
You're,
dispositions are playable. None of them are bad,
which is
which
great.
is great, and also shocking. Um,
Genuinely.
Genuinely shocking. Purge the Foe being fourth was crazy to me. Priority assets make sense. It's kind of nuts for the armies that want to do it. But anyway, let's move into the army win percentages. So just like stat check, we've got win win rate, and then number of X and O's, or rather percentage of X and O's, and then event wins.
So let's take a look at let's break it into the 5% windows. So let's look at like 55 and up real quick.
Yep. So 55 and up, we do only have three. Realistically, we only have two. One of them is fake. There was exactly one Imperial Agents player who happened to go 4-1, giving Imperial Agents an 80% win rate. That is not real.
It's not
Please
real.
don't look at that. So moving swiftly on from that is the only two actually above 55, which are Thousand Suns at 58 and Space Marines at 56.5.
Yeah, and just a couple of notes on these here. So number one, Thousand Suns are always going to be good, especially with the
Yeah.
psychic keyword being the way it is. Now,
Yep.
so Thousand Suns are going to be a problem this edition. Have librarians, but what's really stark or kind of mind blowing is the fact that Space Marines are at a 56.65% win rate, being one of the deeper player pools out there. When that
Yes.
is a thing, so when these numbers bear out that you have a larger percentage of people playing them and their win rate is above Goldilocks, Space Marines are a problem.
Right. Notably, 25% of Space Marine players are starting events X and O or X and 1. Or rather, ending events
Ending
XO
them
or
X and R, X and
X1.
1. Yeah. Which is crazy.
25%.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a 1 in 4 chance. Or, yeah, so like 1
Yeah.
in 4 Space Marines are typically winning most of their games.
Yep. And not like by a little bit. Most as in going 4-1 or 5-0.
Yeah. Which is,
They do only have one event win, so they're not dominating.
yeah.
And that to be
It's
said,
not best.
Thousand Suns only have one win. However, with a 58% win rate, they're a problem. They're doing great.
You should expect to see the Thousand Sun population go up.
Yes.
Because of these results, and Space Marines will probably also do the same, especially considering they're about to get a codex. But
Yeah.
that will all shift once we do. I
Yep.
want to lump into this pile as well, the 55 club as well. So we have the Emperor's Children, we have Tau and Dark Angels, and Necrons, all in
And
the
Necrons,
55%
all in the
win rate bracket.
55s. Yep. Yep. I don't think I think Dark Angels is a little surprising.
It is, genuinely.
The others kind of make sense with the changes to the terrain rules and cover and how the hidden keyword works. Being able to tow incredibly fast moving infantry that is melee focused onto an objective, not be shootable, and then advance and charge because your entire army can advance and charge, makes Emperor's Children quite good.
Yeah, like Emperor's Children is just like so long as their army rule is fast gun and just be fast and charge, they're
Yeah.
always going to be strong. And the way that cover works now, the way that everything is set up now, yeah, it's going to be fine for them probably for a very long time. At least until they get a new codex with a different army rule associated with them. Um, I the big standout surprise is the Dark Angels,
Hmm.
obviously. But what here's my thought process. I believe Wrath of the Rock, even at 3 disposition points, is absurdly good in this edition.
That's super
Um,
fair.
because your whole army, as long as you're standing on stuff with your 5 Terminators, are -1 to hit, -1 to wound, -1 damage,
And hidden.
and hidden. So, like, they can't just get shot indiscriminately.
Right.
Inner Circle Companions are now absurd because they themselves are -1 to hit when led by a character. And then in cover, it's -1 ballistic skill. So you're hitting them on 5s most of the time. And they're -1 to wound because rather the rock. With an invuln, because you're going to probably put a librarian in there and you're just going to run at people. Like, you got a lot of really cool options. Well, I guess you wouldn't have librarius, but you can put a librarian for the invuln, I guess is the best way to put it. So
Yes.
Dark Angels kind of stand out in this grouping
And
as like, wow,
with
look at that.
like having an event win, that's the first Archangel event win in a long time.
Feels like it's been a minute, yeah.
It's been a minute. And they're 55.8, so they're creeping out of that 55, but they have a 26% XOX1 rate, which is nutso.
Yeah, that's crazy. That I genuinely believe that's Wrath of the Rock's doing and why
Right.
priority assets has the highest percentage. I think this is giving a good chunk to that.
And that's super fair. Tau, very unsurprisingly, have 2 event wins so far,
They have all the
as well as
profiles to do all the
Necrons.
damage.
Tau and Necrons are the only armies out of this section of data that have more than 1 event win. They both have 2.
Yeah. I think
Not terribly
like
surprising.
they're good and they're going to be a problem both of those factions until they see some changes specifically around points. Curse Legion is gross.
Yep.
Um so
Um, Running down, so we'll go 54 to 50. In descending order, we have Demons, Imperial
Damon,
Knights, Grey Knights, Orcs, Death Guard, Admech, and Leagues of Votan.
Grey Knight's
Um,
getting to the 54% window
mhm.
with only the addition change means that the psychic keyword might be a little strong.
It's definitely good. This is coming from only 15 players. It is one of the smallest sample
True.
sizes.
True.
Um, but still, even if you say, oh, well, it's just the good players playing them, if they weren't good, the good players wouldn't play them.
Correct.
So there's something to be said there. Orcs are very interesting because they do have it's only a 53% win rate, which is very healthy.
Very much so.
However, they are sitting at nearly a 27% conversion rate to XOX1.
Yeah, there's more undefeated orcs than there are undefeated space marines.
Yes. With which is crazy because they have a worse overall win percentage.
Which is yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. It just means that more better players are playing orcs.
Yep. Um, yeah, not really anything crazy there, I don't think. 49 to 45, we have Custodes right at that 49. CSM, World Eaters, Space Wolves, Deathwatch, Eldar at exactly 45%.
I think all of this makes sense. I'm surprised Votan is only at 50% because Needguard is really good.
Needguard is good, and there are just some interesting combos that you can do, I think.
I
So,
do like I think they just suffer from not having enough unit variety, and that's always going to be their problem.
yeah.
Um so I mean, it's tough to say. In general, I think Votan loved 10th edition And I think 11th edition might just the subtle rule changes just might not agree with them.
And that's fair. The bottom is actually where things get weird, I
Yeah, this
think.
is the fastest and hardest drop off I've
Um,
seen.
there are two in particular that make absolutely zero sense to me, but we'll go through them first. So, um, this will put us at 44 to 40, which we shouldn't even be talking about.
No.
But the caveat there is that there are 8 armies in below 45, which is bad.
Yeah, that's not great.
So 44 to 40 is Blood Angels, Tyranids, Drukhari. One of those makes sense, and that's Blood Angels.
Because their points are just so bad.
Because they just got a lot of points increases. That makes sense. Tyranids and Drukhari at 43 and 42 is mind-boggling.
It is insane because the quad Norn take and hold build just is unfair to play
Is very
against.
strong.
Yeah.
There's multiple very good sub T lists that are running around. Sub T's 3 DP and it still doesn't matter. Like they got 4th place. There's at the Birmingham GT a subterranean assault Tyranid list did go 5-0. Like they are good. You just have they are the second most played faction with 45 players. So it means that I guess most of those players, and by most I mean almost 3/4 of them, are bad,
Shocking.
which happens. Drukhari at 42, I don't get it.
Nope.
I don't get it.
Not at all.
I guess maybe they're still trying to play Spectacle of Spite, and that's Purge, and that's not going to feel great into libraries.
Probably not, no.
But there's a lot of disruption and priority assets options in that codex, and I think that's probably what you should be looking at.
Most likely, yeah.
Anywho, so now, in the 39
Everything
to
else.
39 to we'll say 39 to 35 or 39 to 36, we don't have any.
Yeah. This window is 35.9% to 29.8. Hey guys, editor Jeremy here. Just want to check in real quick and let you know that there was some issues with the recording at the end, where we didn't quite get to finish our topic, which was around the bottom armies. The biggest point of conversation we had here is that Chaos Knights are in like below 30% win rate, which is kind of crazy and weird. Uh, it's probably people trying to defend on the despoiler too much still. We encourage people to try out lots of war dogs instead, as they will almost for sure provide a much better game than the 29% win rate that they have. That being said, just want to go ahead and give thanks to our friendly local gaming stores that support the YOP on a regular basis. Number one, of course, Bob Kelly and the Gamers Haven here in Spokane, Washington. It's a beautiful store. It's 2 stories tall. Has a really cool play area on top. They do everything from Warhammer to Dungeons and Dragons to card games in between. So make sure you take the time to check out the Gamers Haven if you're ever in Spokane, Washington. Secondly, we would also like to thank Dale over at Real Deal Tabletop in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, just 30 minutes from Spokane. It's a really nice store that's incredibly welcoming and a really kind-hearted place. It's fostering a stronger, competitive community from where it was at before. It is a very welcoming place, unlike the majority of Northern Idaho. So it's a gem, like genuinely a very good place to go. Again, that's Real Deal Tabletop in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And then, of course, if you're on your way to Seattle or you're going from Seattle to Spokane, you're generally going to be stopping in Ellensburg, Washington. And when you're there, make sure you stop by Windy City Toys and Collectibles and go visit our friends Bailey Strom and Nick Fromm. Go shop their store, attend their events, go get some good competitive insights, or maybe visit their print shop. They have all kinds of really good patterns available to help you bring your hobby to the next level. They're at Windy City Toys and Collectibles. But I would just like to make sure that we thank our Patreon supporters so much for taking a few bucks out of their wallet a month to help us make this a better service overall for you. Beyond that, for everybody who made it to the end, thank you, thank you, thank you. And finally, we just want to say we always welcome your comments, your questions, your criticisms, your concerns, whatever is the case. We're happy to hear you. Otherwise, we'll see you the next time at the op.